The other thing is, if you can irrigate that area, it will be productive. Now, in the Middle Ages, when that area was under the control of the Turks, they irrigated, and they had vast sugar plantations down in that area. But now, it's the border between Israel and Jordan goes right down through there, and so it's not under a unified government, and so it's kind of like a no man's land today. So nobody is going to go in there and irrigate. So today it's just a very dry, desolate area. Less rainfall, and nobody's really trying to develop that area. Yes? I guess everybody heard the question. Do we have any kind of textual evidence, found at the sites to identify them? And the answer is no, we do not. In fact, that's very, very rare that we would find some kind of written evidence. Once in a while, but not very often. So you have to kind of put together all of your evidence and try to work it out. Another way of identifying ancient sites is through the modern names, because many times those ancient names have survived in the modern names. They'll be changed maybe a little bit, but that's another way archaeologists try to identify sites. So with regard to Gomorrah, we've got Numera, the modern name. That's quite close, and so we have that. And it's mainly the location. There's absolutely no other ruins in this area. And Baba Dra is the largest ruin in the whole region. And so Sodom, being so famous, must have been a large place. So it kind of boils down to there's no other candidates. And they fit, everything fits the Bible. And so I think we've got the places, and they were destroyed by fire and so on. So the evidence really points to these as being the cities of the plain. There's no other possible places, no other candidates have been found. Yeah, in the back.
There was evidence of in other places of oil coming out through the faults and having fires, explained of what could have happened here with Sodom. Where else has that happened? Where other places?
Well, you'd have to talk to a geologist about that. Steve Austin knew of many documented examples, and so, talk to ICR, or maybe some of your geologists here would have that information. I really don't have the references for that, but according to Steve Austin, it's fairly common that happens. Yeah.
I heard a guy give an explanation of the southern end of that Dead Sea area that knows the geology of that, and in fact he's drilling well down there now.
Mm-hmm.
That whole block has dropped quite a bit, and there's evidence for a huge salt dome down several thousand feet that goes down about 30,000 feet, and that's the way he explained it. He pictured it as oil that was ignited and just shot right up through and then rained down on that whole area there. And there's oil seeps all over that place.
Yes, there's bitumen, too. It's kind of like an asphalt. And there used to be a big industry, in fact, when this bitumen would come up to the surface in the Dead Sea, and they'd go out and get it and sell it. For hundreds of years, that was a big industry in that area. But you still see it occasionally today. And there's these oil seeps all over the place. And the Bible talks about when those kings fought against the kings of Mesopotamia, against the cities of the plain, they fought in the, it's usually translated slime pits, I think, but it's bitumen. They got caught up in some of this stuff in the battle. And so we find this in that area. So, all that kind of points to this being the right place. Yes.
When you talk about irrigating that plain and making it fertile, I imagine you can't use salt for your water.
No.
So any irrigation
Yes. The question is about the irrigation there. You can't use the water from the Dead Sea, but I failed to point out that each of these sites is located on a stream, a perennial stream coming down from the plateau to the east. And so that's the water they would have used from those streams, and with the city being located next to the stream, they could control the flow and irrigate the fields out in front of their city. And so it's quite ingenious the way they've located their sites along that plain so that they could irrigate, and each city would have its own little area there, and it was kind of like a breadbasket for the ancient world, because when you take into account all of these cemeteries along there, there was just tens of thousands of people living there, more than in any other area of the early Bronze period, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, over here.
Would there be any underground water as well?
Underground water. I don't know of any underground water, but I'm not that familiar with the area. They built that town that I showed you. Whether they have wells there, I don't know. I've, like I say, not heard of any. It's just so hot and so dry down there. Yes.
I'm wondering if there was a radius of area for the ash that you guys go further out, see if it was just localized.
How far does that ash go? No, we did not do any investigations, and I'm not aware of any. But that would be an interesting thing to do, to see, what was the extent. And, Zoar was preserved, and so you'd expect to find no burning in that area and extensive burning in all the other areas. So that'd be a fun project. Good PhD thesis for somebody. Yes.
How far did you say the valley floor dropped?
Well, I can't remember. It's something like 100 feet to 200 or something. I wrote an article in our summer 1990 issue of Bible and Spade, and I've got all that information in there, the results of the geological investigations in the area. It's quite impressive. I can't remember the exact numbers. 100 feet, 150, something like that. Quite a change.